Welcome to Turning Hard Times into Good Times. I am your host, Jay Taylor, and I'm really pleased to be with Kit Mars. He is the president, CEO, and founder of Alaska Silver. Previously under a different name, it was Western
Alaska
Alaska
Minerals.
Minerals. Right, right. So Kit is with me. I'm really glad to have him with me again. It's a company I've been following for some time. It's a company I think people aren't paying very much attention to, despite a lot of good reasons to be on the watch for this story. The stock trades in Canada under the symbol WAM, and the US under WAMFF, selling at about 70 cents US today. This is Thursday, the 20th of November, when this is being recorded. 88 million shares gives it a market cap around $62 million, in spite of the fact that the company has a very significant resource already and lots of exploration potential. And that's part of what I wanted to talk to Kit about, because they put out a news release here on the 11th of this month. It's very, very promising, I'd say. We want to get a little more insight into that. Kit, thank you so much for joining me today.
Okay. Well, Jay, it's always a pleasure to be here. It's been a while since we talked.
It has
We
been.
did complete our initial public offering in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
on the OTCQX market October 3rd. And because of that, we were in a quiet time. We thought we would be launching in July and then August and then September and then October. So we really couldn't put any news out because of that. So
Yeah.
glad to be
Oh,
back out in the open again, and we've been able to hit a couple of conferences now that we're no longer in a blackout period. Just got back from both Alaska Miners and Precious Metals Zurich, and
yeah.
quite an upbeat mood out there in the markets today. It's very pleasant.
Yeah, they like silver in Zurich as well as gold, I guess, huh?
It's the Swiss and Germans. It's actually about 75% of the interest silver, and the rest is gold. It's a little surprising because you think
Yeah.
the Swiss banks and gold is
Yeah.
1 to 1, but boy, they like silver.
Well, because it's so undervalued relative to historical norms, and of course, there's so significant demand for silver globally for various reasons. So, I'd like to start out, Kit, by having you talk a little bit about your existing resource, which I mean, it was pretty significant. I think, what are we talking about? Maybe just talk to us about that. I think something like 75 million tons with about silver equivalent of
So,
31 ounces, 980
yeah,
grams. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. I don't know what part of that was silver and what part was lead and zinc, but it was anyway, very significant resource. And I don't know how many more millions of tons you might need before people start to wake up and pay attention to you. But okay, so what about that
gee, I
resource?
do need to remind you that it's 75 million ounces of silver equivalent. Tons would be great, but we're still working towards that.
Oh, oh, okay. My notes. Wow, I feel very silly about it. Very, very, very silly. 75 million ounces, but the grade is about what?
900,
980,
you were correct on the
980
grade.
grams. Yeah, equivalent. And what percentage of that would be silver?
It's because it is, those things are based a little bit on dollar value. The silver is about, say 55%. And then zinc is next. We're about 11.4% zinc. So it's a very strong zinc value and about 10% lead.
Uh-huh.
So it's the remainder of that is primarily zinc and then lead after the silver. But it's silver dominant, and with silver prices, we don't need to update our resource with the new prices because the cutoff is so high it doesn't change. But gross metal value now, we're probably close to $1,000 a ton. So
Wow.
it'd be
Wow.
it,
With
and
silver where it
because
is.
yeah, I think we are gonna start looking, or we have internally started to look at economics on our existing resource. We want to continue to expand it. Um, but with the values there now, I think it might be a good idea to put some economics out, and we'll think
Mm-hmm.
about that in first quarter next year.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's a very economic deposit, even at its current size. And it'll be a underground mine, low environmental footprint, hopefully low capex, and we'll keep expanding it as we go ahead.
With regard to your ongoing exploration efforts, this deposit, the name of the project is the Illinois Creek Project, right? And your water
Yeah,
pump, the water pump deposit is where your resource is, your 75 million silver equivalent ounces.
yeah. If your readers take a look at our presentation, you see the Illinois Creek Project is it's all one big carbonate replacement system.
Mm-hmm.
So behind me is our camp and airstrip. Over my shoulder that way is right below me would be Water Pump Creek, and that's about 6 kilometers away from the other end member resources, the Illinois Creek past producing mine, and so that is our gold resource. But it's all one geologic system called a carbonate replacement deposit. Really become better known now with all the work Peter McGaugh, who's the founder of Mag Silver. Peter's a good friend, has been an advisor to the company since pre-going public, and very instrumental in helping with the designer exploration programs.
Yeah, Dr. McGow is probably maybe the foremost CRD geologist in the world. I think. I don't know if that's an overstatement. I don't know if he would say that. But
I would agree with you. No, he is, and that's what he does and knows best. And
he knows best.
You know, there are other geologists around that are certainly well known, but he is probably number one.
The existing deposit, as I understood it, was, it seemed to be faulted off. And it was my impression that you were on the hunt for the other part of the faulted deposit. Do I have that right?
Yes, you do, and that was going to be, or that was the plan this year, because of the delay in our funding, and it wasn't really the fault of the SEC. It's just it's a lot more paperwork in the U.S. than in Canada. So now you know why there's so many more Canadian juniors. So we had a small drilling program. It was very limited. Didn't even start until maybe the last few days of July. So we really didn't get a chance to test whether it's a fault or a full, we call it Water Pump Creek South extension. And that will be, now that we're fully funded with our offering, and I should say that was very proud to have our lead underwriter is Cantor Fitzgerald in New York. And so they really liked the story and helped us raise about 13.8 million US. So we are fully funded for next year. We can start planning our program now. We own our own drill rigs. They're all on site. And so as soon as things dry out after breakup first week of June, we'll be starting those 2 rigs. One will be at Water Pump Creek South, and the other at our new discovery, which we announced, as you said, 2-3 weeks ago, and that is called Silver Sage. And so you see the airstrip behind me there. The Water Pump Creek deposit is the north end where I'm sitting, and Silver Sage is about 2 kilometers south of the south end.
Okay.
And that is similar mineralization to Water Pump Creek, a little bit different in that it contains gold and copper. And where Water Pump Creek is strictly silver, zinc, and lead, and gallium. So we did poke about 9 very short prospecting holes around the trenches. This was a totally blind discovery. Our lead geologist, principal geologist, Sage Langston Stewart, since we weren't drilling, went out and did follow-up of some soil anomalies, flagged those, and I think 8 out of 10 trenches actually hit our flagship Argentiferous galena, which the samples what we announced in the news release, very high silver, very high lead. And so this is a great new discovery, and hopefully next year with a lot of drilling, we would like to turn that into our 3rd resource, but the drilling will let us know when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking here at some of the numbers. Maybe the best one was 1,235 grams of silver and 65% lead and zinc. I mean, that's just
and
That's
Very high. That was in a trench sample, and it's happened to be a very galena-rich zone that was sampled right there. So it was
yeah. So yeah, the
clearly
averages will be yeah,
average would be less than that, but that
yeah,
shows you how high grade it
yeah,
can get.
yeah. Yeah, so you did quite a bit of, I mean, you did quite a bit of surface work there then once you discovered that. And so you put some holes in otherwise, and then I guess when you discovered this, you moved the drill rig over to put some holes in this new discovery. How you're going to have drill results? How long do you think that's going to take, and to what extent will that shape your program for next year?
You know, we're starting to get the first couple holes there. We drilled about 9. There's probably 4 or 5 more to go. When they all come in, we'll announce them together. So we hope to have some of being able to trace some of that surface mineralization, but these are geology prospecting holes. This is, as you can see behind me in the photo, there is no outcrop. So it takes
Hmm.
drilling to figure out what the geology, the structure, the orientation is, start tracing the mineralization. Once we tag into some of thicker zones, then we'll be off to the races and follow that.
So if I understand you, what you're doing, at least in this new discovery, or maybe the previous work before you made this discovery was to drill for structure, try to understand the geology and where the good stuff might be, I guess, right?
Yeah, prior to this year, it was just a soil anomaly. Had no geology whatsoever. So
Hmm.
this work was, we own our own equipment, our own drill rigs, and our own heavy equipment, bulldozers, etc. So we can quickly put a couple of dozers out there, cut some trenches, take samples, and that speeds things up very quickly.
Oh, sure. You have your own drill rigs, you say, and you got people
Yeah.
to operate them, I guess.
Yeah, we contract our drilling out to Morecore Drilling out of
Mhm.
Stewart, BC. They have the expertise and the people, and then we provide the steel and the equipment, and we maintain it all, and it stays on site, so we don't have to move things back and forth. We know right where it is when the season starts.
That's really good. Kit, with regard to this new discovery, do you have any sense of the scale, potential scale, this thing?
Well, the only
I mean,
numbers that we really know are from the soil sampling.
sure.
The alteration is about 1 kilometer north and south,
Uh-huh.
and then the mineralization and trenching is about 500 meters.
Hmm.
So that's sort of the strike length, but what we don't know is
Hmm.
anything about the thickness or the trend, and that's what we'll figure out very soon. We'll be working this winter, plotting up all the samples, doing some three-dimensional work, and come up with a plan. But it'll definitely take some drilling, and luckily we have the money to do that now, and we'll
Yeah.
start first thing in June.
With regard to the economics, do you envision a mill there, or do you think you do uh, produce some concentrate and have it shipped? How do you think this might go? I mean,
Yeah, well, there's 2 deposits, Illinois Creek,
yeah,
past producing mine. That is very different metallurgy. It's
sure,
oxide, gold, and silver. So
sure.
you would
You
just
heap leach it.
crush it, leach it, and
Uh,
produce a doré. That was
Okay,
historically what was done.
okay.
Water Pump Creek is sulfide, so
Hmm.
it's very soft and coarse grain. You crush it once, and then the most efficient thing is to run it through a very simple um, flotation cells where you create a zinc concentrate and a lead, and
Hmm.
then you would ship that. All the silver is contained in the lead, and then the gallium is in the zinc, and
Hmm.
we're starting to pick up other antimony and some
Oh,
other
really?
elements in the zinc concentrate.
How significant might those kind of critical metals be, antimony and gallium? I mean, are they
Right now,
economically significant, or are they significant in helping you get approvals?
they're not economic drivers from the sense of payables. There
Hmm.
will be a there will be a significant recovery of the gallium, and it's worth a lot more to the U.S. Department of Defense than anybody else. So we would certainly work some deal out with them.
Hmm.
But it's I think the main benefit is that it places our deposit. We have two of the original critical minerals, zinc and gallium.
Hmm.
Just lately, zinc, silver,
Silver
and
now too, yeah.
lead have been answered. Yeah. So we have quite a few, and that really where it comes in with potential support from the U.S. government, and definitely in the permitting, it'll help speed things up.
So you've done quite a bit of work on metallurgy, but imagine now this new deposit, not so much yet, and do you expect it would be much different from the other
So
CRD, from water pump?
so far, Silver Sage looks pretty similar to Water Pump Creek. It's
Mhm.
just it's 5 kilometers away, so the metal zoning is a little bit different. But we have done metallurgy through ALS and Kamloops, and it's clear that the zinc produces a very good concentrate. Some of those numbers were put out when we did our critical minerals gallium news release earlier in the year. But we're looking forward to have a very good zinc concentrate and a high grade lead concentrate. Very plain vanilla, straightforward metallurgy on this kind of deposit.
Mhm. But I saw there was some talk in your presentation here of a road that might be built over to the Yukon River that would allow you to barge concentrates or something. Is that something that's in the future possibly, especially with the government concerned about, especially this administration concerned about developing mines?
It's Yeah, that's very true. We've done actually about 3 years of civil engineering on that, finished up about a year ago. It's 28 miles, fairly simple construction overland to the Yukon River. That is where, when the mine was developed in the 1997, 98 period, the barge landing was used, and then it was strictly a winter road
Mm.
to bring in heavy equipment.
Hmm.
Water Pump Creek would require an all-weather access because of the concentrate. So that is something that we're currently in discussions with the state and federal agencies. And you're right, there is quite a change in the political winds in the
Yeah,
U.S. towards mining, and especially in Alaska.
yeah,
There's been a lot of discussion there, and I think that's going to be very helpful.
yeah. The other guys weren't too favorably inclined towards mining, it seems. They let someone else do it. Not in my backyard, I guess, whatever. Um, all right, so you've got money. You can start to go pretty aggressively next year. That should be an exciting time for you, kid. I mean, to a geologist like you to be able to learn of the Mother Nature's secrets, right?
It's What's really nice is we don't have to spend the next 6 months worrying about raising capital,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's a very time consuming process. We are going to start our planning with a company technical meeting first week of December.
Uh-huh.
And then one of the first things we're going to do in the first quarter is update our original going public resource was the oxide gold at Illinois Creek. And that is, it needs to expand. It's strictly historical. It is a qualified resource, 43101 and
Hmm.
now SK 1300. It's 525,000 ounces,
Oh, okay.
mostly indicated, and about 75% indicated, and the rest inferred. But that
Hmm.
was done in 2019 at $1,600 gold
Ah,
and $20 silver. So that one definitely is ready for an update, and hopefully we'll be able to add some tons, because that was strictly constrained by the pit shell. So the pit shell will expand with higher metal prices.
I was going to ask you. Right. Well, yeah, you haven't really focused on that at all. Your focus has been on
No,
CRD. Um, so yeah, so that would be an open pit heap leach there in Alaska. Can you or
that's what it was when it was
was
operated, was a heap leach. We would probably do something more called an agitated vat, where you have smaller batches, but you control everything a lot better recoveries. The one problem the original mine had was they didn't follow the metallurgical recipe that was done. They got in a hurry, and silver was only about 350 an ounce then, so they did not even have a didn't have a silver circuit. So
yeah,
that
of
that has
course.
changed. we will definitely have a silver circuit.
You have some silver up there, so you have some other base metals there as well.
Illinois
You have a
Creek
little
is
copper?
it has a little bit of copper in it, but it's really about 1 gram gold and 38 grams silver is what the oxide
Okay,
is.
all right,
So
all right.
it
Well, that's
it's
something,
actually about
I mean, that's a kicker there. I hadn't even paid attention to that. I almost forgot. And you guys now with gold at $4,000, and 500,000 ounces. I mean, 500,000 ounces at 4,000 is worth a lot more than 500,000 ounces at $2,000 gold. So yeah,
very, very good with your math there. Yeah, it's
yeah, I'm sharp,
you are correct. It's been on the back burner when gold was $1,500.
hmm
It really was a break-even kind of proposition.
hmm
Now I think it would be. We want to take a look at the economics of that once the resource is done. So that should hopefully come out in the first quarter, and I'm really curious to see what the numbers are in that.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. That's, I guess, one of the things you say in the first quarter. So that's one of the things people should be on the lookout for, is that as
Yeah,
well as, yeah.
yeah, we're almost done with it in March of last year or March of this year still.
hmm
But when we decided to list in the US and go through the SEC, we did not want to change our resource mid-filing because then it would delay everything until
Oh,
we redid the filing. So we had about 80% done, and so it's quite a ways. We just need to plug in some new pit design and plug in the new numbers and take a look at the cutoff grade, and then we'll be done.
Kit, with regard to infrastructure, I mean, we're looking at your airstrip there. There's not road access. You have to fly into the project at this stage, right?
That's correct. We're about 270 miles west of Fairbanks.
hmm
We can use C-130 Hercules when we bring in a drill rig, which we did a couple of years ago, DC-6 for fuel. But internally, we have about a 20-mile road system from when the mine was in operation. Trucks, so all of the drills are supported by truck supported, not helicopters. So it does keep our costs down. But the access to the Yukon River is very important.
hmm
It's about a mile wide and 45 feet deep, something like that, and area, and you can bring ocean going barge up to our site. So
Yeah.
that will be it's a very good, once the road's completed, it'll be some excellent transportation.
How far is the road to the river from where you are?
28 miles,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and it's 100% on state of Alaska land.
Okay. That's all right. See what else I wanted to, so, I know. I wanted to ask you now, you did this financing. Can you give us a sense of who owns the company now? Management, insiders have some, they did before at least, I'm sure you still do. Institutions, give us a little bit of a breakdown on that, roughly.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll pull out my own little cheat sheet here to
Cheat
look at
sheet,
it. But
right? I need those too.
we do have insiders, directors. My wife Jonah and I are co-founders of the company. We have about 13-14%,
hmm
and the other insiders make up about 26%. And then
hmm
probably a similar number of institutions. That would include Commodity Discovery Fund out of the Netherlands, Sprott US in Carlsbad, some of their managed funds, APAC Resources out of Hong Kong,
hmm
and then we do have a couple of Swiss German private funds that are institutional shareholders. So one of our goals with the U.S. listing on the OTCQX is to provide a better market, less cost for our U.S. investors, so they can
hmm
trade directly through their broker in the U.S.
Yeah,
And we want to gradually expand that and start market in the U.S., which we've never done since we were
right.
public.
Yeah, it seems as though you probably don't have a real big float then. The retail investors
Yeah,
relatively small, given what.
the float is, after the last financing, free trading is about 65 million. Another 22 million would be insiders, our original founders, and then but of that, maybe you really don't know. Maybe only half of that is actively traded. So our
Mhm.
goal is if you look at the trading volume on the TSX Venture, it's gone up substantially. So now we usually are in the 400,000 shares a day, and pre-listing in the U.S. it was probably 25,000 a day. So
Okay,
the
that's
U.S.
pretty
the
big.
U.S. has gone from 0 to 50,000. So
No,
we're
it's
making
okay.
progress.
Well, you get the story out there too, Kit, and it's people start to wake up to what you have with current silver prices too. I mean, you're to what extent? I mean, silver is really the bigger of the metals. You have lead and zinc. I suppose silver is really the thing that really enriches it more because those other metals haven't moved that much, right? They're up a little, but not
Uh,
too much.
a little, yeah, you're correct. Zinc is now in the 130 range, and zinc has some potential to go up a little bit, but it's probably not going to double. Might be up in the 150 range. Silver is the wild card. Went up to $50 faster than I thought it would,
Yeah.
and so you tell me, Jay, what you think it's going to be, and I'll go out and find it, and you tell me what it's going to be worth.
I have no idea. All I know is that there's reports of failure to deliver and it's taking forever for people that, because the paper markets were so humongous, the banks got involved in the issue. I mean, all these forward contracts. So I've heard it said over 100 times more than the actual metal that gets traded. So you had a lot of people thinking they owned gold and silver when all they had was paper. And so now all of a sudden, when people are losing confidence in the dollar, and they want the real thing, God only knows where the price could go. I mean, Michael Oliver on my show thinks 75 to 100 isn't a stretch. Uh, I mean, that would be music to your ears, I suppose, but then what's going to happen to the cost of getting it out and all that if we have a lot of inflation? Who knows? I have no idea. All I know is that, as JP Morgan said, gold is money, everything else is credit. He might have included silver in that, but certainly, I think we're in a bull market of a lifetime, my lifetime. I've been around for 78 years and I haven't seen anything like this. And I think we're maybe in the ninth, maybe we're in about the sixth inning of a 9 inning ball game. Although the innings will go very fast at the end, and then we're going to see much higher prices at the end, I think. And then maybe a lot of other things change in the world that it's hard to predict. But that's what makes your business hard too, Kit, is it's a long-term, capital intensive, really a tough business. I mean, you have you have to spend sometimes billions of dollars to build a mine, and then you don't know what you're going to get for the product you're selling going forward. So it's yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. It has been difficult. I think this is probably the best time that I've seen in many, many years. I've been in the exploration business probably 45 years, and
Hmm.
this really feels like a good time, a good run. I don't really remember anything like this before. We used to get excited when I worked for Anaconda Copper Company when copper got up to $1.50 or something.
Yeah,
That was gangbusters.
yeah.
And gold was $500 when Illinois Creek mine was in production.
Hmm.
It closed very quickly after about a year and a half. They borrowed money when it was $350 gold from the Rothschilds and tried to pay it back a year later when gold hit 267. So
Oh
times are
man.
a lot times are better now.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, they're inflated dollars, but nonetheless, in real terms, gold has done very, very well. Silver is now catching up. So just in sort of summing up here, then, Kit, you've got the gold aspect there that I hadn't really considered. That's considerable. You got this new discovery, and you're very excited about it. We don't know too much about it yet, but the numbers on surface are just absolutely astounding. I don't know how widespread those numbers are going to be, but it looks pretty good. And so I guess people should be watching for what? I guess news on the gold situation. You're going to be talking about that
Yeah.
first quarter next year. You should have some news pretty soon, or December, whatever time frame on the drill results this year, right?
Yeah, we should have some drill results finally by December, first quarter for the resource. And I guess I'll go ahead and put a little pitch there at our current market cap and our 75 million ounces, I would say that we're valued somewhere close to about a dollar an ounce, maybe a little bit less. And
Yeah.
historically, that's pretty low. If you look at Vizsla, Dollyvarden, and some of the other ones, they're 2.5 to maybe even $3 an ounce. So once we do some economics, do some more engineering, I think we've got a clear pathway to increase our valuation. And then I do agree with you that the Illinois Greek Gold resource right now, I doubt if we're given anything for that in our
No.
market cap. So we need to time to tell that story again and bring
Oh,
that
well, I'll
about.
certainly be happy to have you on to tell it and to update us again. Kit, it's
Sure.
really a pleasure catching up with you with all this good news. We're going to start to see it reflected in the share price, and I'm sure we will. So,
Thank you for your cautious optimism there, Jay.
yeah, I am cautiously optimistic. I think I'm very
Very good.
optimistic, but I mean, I'm optimistic because what's happening is it's not all good news. It's good news, but it's gold is going up because the dollar is losing its value, and the politicians keep creating more and more of it to try to convince everybody that they're in charge and they can fix everything. So anyway, okay, Kit. Well, thank you so much, and we'll keep up with you for sure. And
Okay.
look forward to talking to you after you have some more news out that's significant, and probably the first quarter sometime next year we can chat
I
again.
think the first quarter would be a good time to get back together. So thank you very
Wonderful.
much. Always a pleasure talking to you, Jay.
Yeah, always good to hear from you. Okay, folks, that's it for this week. I'm not sure. Next week is Thanksgiving. I don't know who my next guest will be, but keep your eye on your Substack emails, and you'll find out that way. So until we meet again, goodbye and God's blessings to you.